What's up, goodies? Welcome back to your girl channel and to my kitchen, how to cook. And today we are making juicy shrimp and corn recipe in the kitchen. Fast, easy, and simple. Make sure to subscribe, goodie, if you have not, and turn on the post notifications so you won't miss any other upload. And for all I'm returning goodie, on a don't know some love, on ready for cook? Come on, let's cook. Alright, goodies, make we dive on into the recipe, right? Now for this recipe, of course, you'll need shrimp. I am using uncooked shrimp for the recipe. But of course, if you have cooked shrimp, you could go ahead and use that. But just be sure that you don't overcook the shrimp. I did wash it with salt, lemon juice, and vinegar. Alright, and I did devein the shrimp. Be sure that you devein your shrimp, clean your shrimp before you actually cook it. Now, the second main ingredient is your corn of choice. Use any regular corn that you have or whatever you could find, okay? Now to the recipe. It's easy and simple. You're going to need pumpkin, some scallion or green onion, add pepper, onion, of course, some tomato, and bell pepper. You can add thyme if you want to add thyme, but I didn't add any thyme to this recipe, of course. Use any other bell peppers that you may have in your kitchen, and that is all that you need here for the recipe, okay? So let's go ahead and get these ingredients together. Now in a container, you're going to season up this thing, right? Now to the season, we're starting off with salt and black pepper, right? To the salt and the black pepper, you're going in with some onion powder, and you combine it with garlic powder. Now to the onion and garlic powder, you want to go in with some kind of an all-purpose season. I'm using Maggi here. You could substitute out the Maggi for whatever you have. Everybody have complete seasoning in them also. Go ahead and add your complete seasoning if that's what you have. Be sure to add some ginger powder. I'm using ginger spice here. If you have fresh ginger, you go ahead and use that. I'm going to add turmeric today for the recipe. If you don't have turmeric powder, use curry powder, right? I'm also going to add some minced garlic. You could use fresh one if you have that. I'm also going to add some chopped chive, dried one if you have fresh one, or parsley, or anything that is dried oregano. You could go ahead and use that too, because I love the green. I had more. I'm adding some lime juice here because I never have no fresh one. Go ahead and use a fresh one if you have that. Add some oil, any regular oil, any regular shegla oil that you have. You go ahead and you use that for the recipe, okay? And then definitely we're going to add some vinegar, because vinegar not only good for you, but it make you look young forever. And I know me feel about staying young, right? So now you're going to go ahead and mix all your seasonings in. You don't want it to be runny, of course, because you are making shrimp, and if you make the seasoning runny, you are going to provide an extra amount of liquid once you start cooking those shrimp, okay? So make sure that the paste looks something like this. I will list everything once again in the description box, so you guys could go ahead and follow that. But I eyeball everything right. That's all right, goodie. Now moving right along, you want to go ahead with your nice clean shrimp, and you want to pour out all of the seasonings that you just made up right here on your shrimp, right? Now I did allow my shrimp to sit and marinate for about 30 minutes before I actually started to cook it, right? And again, goodie, let me explain. If you're planning on using cooked shrimp, you're going to do the same method. The only difference is you cannot cook those shrimp as long as you would cook this one, because it's going to become rubbery. So I would suggest that you would use uncooked shrimp for the recipe, right? Because it's going to turn out really, really, really good, and you don't have to worry about the shrimp overcooking and get rubbery. All right, so that is what the shrimp looks like. If it didn't look like that when you got done seasoning up your meat, you want to go, not your meat, your seafood. What am I talking about? Your seafood, then you go back and add some more seasons, okay? But just be sure that you season up this bad boy really, really good, and you cover it up and let it sit for 30 minutes. Or you could do this overnight. Put it in your refrigerator, let it sit for overnight status. Take it out 30 minutes before you actually started cooking. But honey baby, these shrimp right here is well seasoned and ready to be cooked. Now moving right along, after 30 minutes of my marinating time, I'm going to get my pot ready. I'm using regular scheduler, once again, oil. Any kind of oil that you have in your kitchen will work, all right? Do not use too much oil because you don't want it to be too greasy. Just normal amount of oil, right? And of course, my eyeball it. Of course, I eyeball everything. Now, I did go in and add some bay leaves here and a couple of seeds of pimento. Seeds are pimento berry. You could use powder as well, right? Now, what we're doing here is infusing these two ingredients and give it flavor. We're going to toast up these leaves because when you toast them, a crazy flavor starts happening into the oil. Into that oil is a lot of flavor from the pimento berries or the pimento seeds and the bay leaf, right? Then you want to go ahead and add the powder really quickly. 2 seconds, give it a nice little spin because you don't want to burn it. My fire is at a medium heat, you guys, okay? 30 seconds, just like that, you toast it up. And right after you toast it up, just like so, it's going to look like that. Then you go ahead and pour your veggies immediately into that curry, right? And again, I'm using curry powder, you guys. If you don't have turmeric, you could use any kind of a curry powder that you like to use in your kitchen. You go ahead and you use that. Now I'm making sure that my vegetables get all of the flavor of the turmeric, right, onto the veggies here, right? So after I've done that, what I'm going to do next is add the water because you want to be sure that your potatoes. What am I talking about? Potatoes, you guys. You want to be sure that your pumpkin is cooked, all right, thoroughly. So go ahead and add some water to that, and then you want to go in and add the corn here. Okay, you want to cook the corn with the potatoes right here. Now, after you've had the corn of choice to your pot, you definitely want to go back in and season those veggies up. So I did add a little bit more of the Maggi seasoning. This is the all-purpose one. You can substitute that out. Don't worry if you don't have it. Use what you have in your kitchen. And I also did go back in and add just a little bit of salt on that corn to give it more flavor, and black pepper, y'all. All right, and that is it. I didn't move anything or twist anything. All I did was cover it up for about 10 to 15 minutes. Came back, and that's what you have. 15 minutes, I'll say. And the potatoes, I keep on saying potatoes, goodie. And the pumpkin was cooked, okay? And the corn was corning. It had flavor of that turmeric and everything else that I had going on in there. Now, with your uncooked shrimp goodie, you go ahead and you pour it all over that thing, all right? Now, your fire needs to be at a medium heat, so that way you don't have everything simmering all the way simmering, because you're cooking seafood and it will burn easily, all right? You don't want it to cook too fast. So I'll say you cover it up, and after you cover it up, don't add any liquid here, because your corn is going to produce liquid and the shrimp is going to produce liquid. All you need to do is add your favorite butter of choice, okay? Add some butter to it. I say I had maybe about 4 tablespoons because butter tastes good, not everything, but to make everything taste better. So I went ahead and added, I'll say maybe 4 tablespoons of butter to it, just like so. And all I'm going to do is just allow that butter to melt. So I covered it up, never unbutter it, never butter it, just cover it up and let it do what it needed to do for another, I'll say 10 minutes. Allow the butter to melt, and look what happens when the butter melts. See, I didn't add any water, but look at how the shrimp produces that extra amount of shrimpalicious juicy flavor, okay? Now, this recipe is a recipe that you have to try. Not only does it taste good, but it cooks in no time. It's like more of a comfort meal, and the children will love this. They will love the shrimp. They will love the corn. They're gonna absolutely love this. They could eat it up just like this, and they're eating veggies. You have the pumpkin in there. You could add more veggies if that's what you like. But I did have mine with white rice. You could have it with mashed potatoes or just about anything, but it's going to be divine. Y'all, good. Listen, Tell a friend for tell a friend, okay? Tell the man up the road, tell the girl down the street. Bring them company and send them come. Why? Because I'm waiting. And when you get done doing all of that, tell me where you want to see me cook next. In my kitchen. And remember, as always, from my kitchen to your kitchen, enjoy!